Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Elaine Sanchez, and I will be your moderator for this virtual eResources Fair 2021. A warm library welcome. The main purpose of this event is to raise awareness of the electronic resources available to you through the library. While Google may provide millions of hits for a typical search, there's no guarantee that the results on the first page or the first few pages are the best for your query. Research at this level requires access to quality information that is reliable and from reputable sources. Hence the large investment in scholarly e-journals, e-books, and databases. We hope that after today's experience, you will be aware of the digital resources at your disposal, and they can help you succeed in your learning, teaching, and research. Have fun while you listen carefully, as there will be a few spot prizes as we go along, and also there will be a grand prize at the end, so please stay tuned. At this time, we will have Mrs. Jessica Lewis Marshall, our Deputy Librarian, and she will be bringing greetings.
Greetings, friends and colleagues, to 2021's eResource Fair, or retitled as eResources Access at Your Fingertips. As Ms. Sanchez indicated, eResources are critical to how we operate in this dispensation. They're important to students and staff alike as we do our research or we're just helping users. Just this morning, I was deep into our databases, assisting a user, trying to help them find research material. And I was finished and felt satisfied that the UE Mona Library collections were available and accessible in full text. In the last 2 years, the Mona Library has had to adopt a seamless approach to virtual and physical services. In fact, the library as a virtual space is constantly evolving, and we're acquiring additional electronic resources, and we want to ensure that you, the UWI community, are really harnessing them. Today's webinar would formerly have been in person, but though this year's event is online, we still aim to ensure that you become more aware and harness the full capacity of the range of resources that we have on offer. As Ms. Sanchez said, we're going to cover databases, e-journals, books, citation software. These are just a few of the things that we're covering in today's program. We'll also be sharing guest presenters from two of the world's leading database aggregators, ProQuest and EBSCO, as well as some of our librarians will be speaking about some of the other valuable resources that we have. I want you to remember these names, ProQuest and EBSCO, because they are, not only are they major resource providers, they are necessary allies in your online research journey. We hope that you'll find this session useful. And right now, I would encourage you to share this link with a friend, a colleague. I guarantee that you both will be better at the end of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Lewis Marshall, for setting the tone for an afternoon that will be just awesome. An afternoon that will be full of information, and I am very excited. How about you? We will now have Mrs. Yolanda Tugwell, one of our information literacy librarians, giving an overview of our databases. Ms. Tugwell?
Good afternoon. Yes, good afternoon all. Just give me a minute before I start sharing. So this evening, I want to talk to you a little bit about our databases. The library spends a lot of money on databases. And just for this year alone, this academic year, the library has spent a whopping $53,869,234.93 in Jamaican dollars. All right. So you know that these are very valuable resources and we will need to make sure that we make good use of them, all right? I just want to, at this time, talk about a few of our databases as it relates to, and I'm just going to say some of them, not all. I won't use all of them at this time, just to show you, and we'll begin. So what I'll do while I try to sort that part out, I'm going to start by looking at some of our databases, and I'll begin today with the going to the library's webpage. And there are two ways that you can actually access our databases. So I'm going to go to resources, electronic databases. And one of the databases that I want to look at this evening is JSTOR. And JSTOR is a very valuable database that we have here at the University of the West Indies. It is one of the databases that has great historical information, literature, and so on is available inside it. And we just want to look at it now. So I'm just going to do a search for cults and Jamaica. And here you see that once it is that you have searched that particular database, we have some articles here, right? So one of them could be, let's look at this one. All right, so this is one of the databases. And if it is that you want to download it, you do have the option of downloading the PDF. For JSTOR, you're asked to accept and download due to the copyright restrictions there. All right, so that's JSTOR. Another database that we want to look at this evening is the database called Credo Reference. So if I go to the library's homepage and click on database, click on ULink, sorry, I will come here. And once I'm on the ULink page, I'm able to sign in here. And once I give in my credentials, so you sign in with your UEID and password. Once you do that, you can click on databases here. This is another way to reach to our databases. And we have a wealth of databases. As you would have seen when I used the library's homepage, you get an actual description of each of the databases. So at this time, I'm just going to click on C here, click on Credo Reference. And this is Credo Reference. And Credo is one of those databases that it is very useful. It's an excellent database for background information. And what it will do is it has a host of reference sources. So your dictionaries, encyclopedias, just about any kind of reference resource that you can think of is available in Credo Reference. So if I do the same search, I come up with my results here. So for Credo Reference, what happens is that a lot of times you'll get what is called a mind map. So if you look to the right of your screen, you'll realize that there are other terms related to the particular term here that is being spoken about. So instead of cult, we could have used new religious movement. And once I click on another search, it changes what my results are. If you click on any of them, what you'll see are options to save. You can get the citation style here. You're able to print, you're able to share it, and just about anything you want to do there, right? So that's another useful database that we actually have. So give me a minute and let me try again to show my video. Okay, so sorry about that. So today we want to look at our databases by faculty. And as I said earlier, that the university has spent over 53 million Jamaican dollars on electronic resources, right? So you know we have a lot of credible information available to you, and we invite you to use them usefully. Now, some of the databases at the Mona Library include our multidisciplinary databases, Academic Search Ultimate, ProQuest Central, and Academic Search Ultimate is one of the suite of databases offered by EBSCO, and later we will hear from the representative from both EBSCO and ProQuest. So as we proceed, so we looked at Credo for a minute there, and Credo is one of our reference databases.
What is this? Meat?
Sharing.
Shall I start using meat now?
We have databases such as ACM Digital Library. And in addition to that, the IEEE Explore Digital Library. This is an extremely useful database for persons who are doing engineering. So humanities and education, we looked at JSTOR just now, and JSTOR is one of the useful ones in terms of having primary resources and so on. Project Muse is another one used by humanities. For law, we have databases such as Lexis Library, which is available to everyone, which has in it Halsbury Laws of England, All England Law Reports, among other publications. And if we continue, we have Find Law, and although these are not mentioned on there, we have databases such as Justice 1 for the law library, law students, and we have the Westlaw database, which is available only to the law students. So moving on, we have for the Faculty of Science and Technology, SciFinder, and for SciFinder, you would have to create your own account in order to be able to access this database. So among them, we also have Agora, which is a useful agriculture database that can be used by persons pursuing science and technology. And this is available from Research for Life. So for the social sciences, we have databases such as Sage Video, Counseling and Psychotherapy Collection for persons in psychology, sociology, and those areas. Very useful as you get actually live videos there. And if we move along, another database that we have pulled out is from ProQuest. We have ABI Inform Collection. And you know there are a wealth of other databases that we have, Emerald and so on, that can also be used by persons in the social sciences. For the sport, the Faculty of Sport, we have ProQuest Central again. And ProQuest Central is very useful here. And at this time, we just want to talk about the Faculty of Medical Sciences. And they have databases such as Hinari, Medline, PubMed, Synol for the nurses, and Access Pharmacy for pharmacy students. So that was just a cross-section of some of the databases that are available to you based on discipline. I thank you.
Thank you so much for that insightful bit of information on our databases, Ms. Stockwell. I hope you are all taking notes. At this time, I would like for someone to tell me two of the databases that Ms. Stockwell mentioned. You can put it in the chat, and the first person who place the correct answer in the chat will be the winner. So again, I did not know that we spent so much money on our databases. $53 million is a lot of money, and we need to utilize the databases that we have here. Next, we will have Miss Beverly Eccleston-Burt, librarian at our Western Jamaica campus, and she will be introducing our guest presenters.
Thank you, Ms. Sanchez, and good afternoon, everyone. The pleasure is mine to introduce to you at this time our guest presenter, who is a consultant and training professional. She has collaborated with various higher educational institutions and academic publishers in Mexico, Latin America, and the Caribbean. With her consulting skills and being focused on the user experience, she has had the opportunity to participate and presented at numerous regional and international workshops and conferences. Currently, she works as a trainer and consultant at ProQuest, where she specializes in instructional design for online learning and teaching, creating teaching materials that support the user of resources in the ProQuest database. Organizers, participants, help me in welcoming and presenting to you at this time, Miss Millie Bulgarin. Over to you, Miss Bulgarin.
Thank you very much for your kind introduction. I'm really happy to be here, and thank you very much for lending this spot in this space in order to share a little bit of information on the ProQuest resources that are subscribed by your library, which has already been mentioned. It's extremely important you take advantage of them since they represent a very important investment in content and resources of this sort. Okay, so I'm going to start sharing my screen, and we'll have this presentation divided into two: an introduction with PowerPoint, and then we'll go live to the platform so we can have a brief overview of what the platform and the collections offer. As previously mentioned, my name is Millie Bulgarin, and I'm a training and consulting partner. I'm based in Guadalajara, Mexico. That's my pre-pandemic picture, so please do not avoid comparisons. And in case we don't have enough time to cover all of your questions and doubts, please feel free to contact me at training@proquest.com. Now let's start by addressing the elephant in the room. It's not a secret that many of us, many students, and even many professors use different search sites in order to retrieve academic information. So what I wanted to highlight is the importance of walking away from Google and starting using more library databases. Library databases support the library's work of providing loans for print books by also providing access to users to different types of sources, such as electronic books, dissertations and theses, historical newspapers, these are also could be primary sources, reports, conference proceedings, of course, the scholarly journals that are very relevant for academic research and academic purposes, as we already know. Now, ProQuest Central is a database that will provide access to users to all of these types of sources and some additional that we haven't mentioned yet. And this is a very, very relevant collection since it includes 47 databases. And with this, we cover 175 subject areas that have a quite high quality control because it's curated material that having gone through a very meticulous revision and control process. It provides access, as we mentioned, to different types of sources, including the scholarly journals, but also blogs, newspapers, videos that probably are sources you're more familiar as students, you're more familiar with, and will help you transition to more complex sources such as dissertations or the scholarly journals. And something that's quite important is that ProQuest Central provides access to a very important amount of content available in full text for you to print, copy, or download as required. Now, how can we support and how can how can we back up this relevant content? By all the publishers that aggregate their content with us. Some of them, as the ones you have in the slide, are probably already familiar. For you, we have Emerald Content, Cambridge University Press, MIT Sloan, the New England Journal of Medicine, the Lancet, Elsevier. So we are certain that you will find valuable content for your academic works and for your research, regardless of the discipline or career of your area or that you are studying. Now, there's a second relevant collection that I would like to share with you today. That's the ProQuest Dissertation and Thesis Global Collection. This is the largest single extensive and expanding global collection of dissertation and master thesis in the world. It offers full text for most of the dissertations, and since 1997, we're talking about 2.7 million full text dissertations. We have a PDF format that you can freely download. There's no restriction when it comes to the number of dissertations that you can download per day. And the database offers also abstracts, of course, of other dissertations published since July 1980. And just to mention how relevant this collection is, this is the official offsite repository for dissertations for the US Library of Congress. And also it's a growing collection. Each year, more than 200,000 works are added to ProQuest Dissertation and Thesis. Something also important to consider is that the needs we have nowadays when it comes to developing these types of academic works is that we need to be able to include or to to read and search for not only the manuscript of the dissertation, but also supplemental materials or files. And these are also included for many of the dissertations within the ProQuest Dissertations and Thesis collection. Some of the examples of these formats available are PowerPoint presentations, code scripts, data, images, spreadsheets, and also video. Now let's go to the online demo so we can give you more insights on what the collections and the platform are. They have already kindly mentioned what's the access route to our resources. So once again, we have the website of the University of West Indies Mona Campus Library. Here you find the resources tab, and at electronic databases, you have the list of those databases that are subscribed, not only ProQuest, but from other vendors. So in case you want to look at just ProQuest databases, we would suggest to try this search for ProQuest, and then you'll see the list of our resources, included ProQuest Central, ABI Inform, and ProQuest Dissertation and Thesis that were already introduced and mentioned. Now, once you select the preferred database where you want to start your search, you'll be prompted to authenticate as part of the academic community of Mona Campus. Okay, so this is what you'll see. This is our platform. This is a ProQuest platform, and this platform, the huge advantages is that this only platform hosts all of the databases we have already introduced. So there's only one access site for all of these content, for all of these different types of sources that you might be interested in retrieving from your searches. Now, something also really good about the ProQuest platform is that it allows users, it allows students to decide where and how they want to start their searches. In this case, you have the databases tab, and these databases, when clicking on it, is going to direct you. I'm really sorry, I believe I need a minute to run my session again. So just 1 minute to keep it going and go back to the platform. Please feel free to share your questions in the chat while we are presenting. We'll be happy to address them as we go, or see if we have enough time to address them at the end of the presentation. Okay, so here we have our platform, ProQuest platform, and we were talking about the databases tab. I'm sorry, it's in Spanish. The Spanish lesson is for free, so please don't mind. There we go. So as you see, you have access to 4 different databases. The Coronavirus Research Database, this is temporarily a free access database considering the current context. eBook Central database for the electronic books purchases as well, or collections in case there were any subscriptions. And we have the ProQuest Central. And as I mentioned before, ProQuest Central includes 47 databases, multidisciplinary and specialized databases. So this gives you the opportunity to decide, where do I want to look for my academic content and the information I'm needed for my work or my research. So in this case, and just for the demonstration purpose, I'm gonna use the ProQuest Central. I'm gonna select the ProQuest Central collection to include those 47 databases. Now, remember something really important. Many formats, many source types are included in ProQuest Central. So just to demonstrate that, I'm going to go for a search. Let's suppose I'm a student of the technology or engineer career, and I am developing a project that's related to the use of technology, in this case robotics, to support medical or surgical procedures. So I'm gonna write robotics and medics, and I'm gonna go and search. So once we are directed to the search results page, then we have different opportunities to narrow the results. As you can see on the left side of the screen, we have all of the filters available for these purposes. So I can limit to source type, to full text, those articles that have been peer reviewed, by publication date, title, document, location, person. Or once again, I have the opportunity to look at one database in particular. Remember, once again, ProQuest Central includes 47 different databases. Now, pay attention to all the information we're sharing, because we have some surprises for you at the end of the presentation. Now, on the main panel, you'll retrieve all the results that correspond to a periodical publications. It could be a newspaper, it could be a scholarly journal, or it could also be a thesis or a trade journal, a magazine, a blog result, etc. And on the right side of the screen, we have the results that correspond to the electronic books and also the videos. Now, the videos is a format quite engaging and attractive for students nowadays. So it's important and quite interesting for you to know that we have including these source types in our collection as well. Now I can limit by source type, and let's, in this case, select the dissertation and thesis. And what I want to show you is, we were mentioning previously that there's this need to include supplemental materials nowadays on our dissertation works. And in this case, I'm going to select one example of this. This, for example, is optical navigation techniques for minimally invasive robotic surgeries. As I can see, I can validate what information and formats I have available for this dissertation. I can preview the PDF. I have access to the full text PDF, but also I have supplemental files, and I can even order a copy. This is a printed version, of course, of the manuscript, and it does have an additional price. And also I have the link to the references, the total of references that were used in order to develop these theses. So I'm gonna select this. And regardless of the type of source you are reading, whether it's a video, a magazine, a journal, or a thesis, like in this case, you will always find on the right top side of the page some tools to interact with the file, with the document, or to save it, print it, or share it. Download the PDF, order a copy site, which also gives you the opportunity to select among a variety of citation styles, and it's generated automatically. You can also share by email or explore other options, such as saving these theses on the cloud to avoid downloading that much information to your computer. Now, the supplemental files. This is quite interesting. Remember that you can find these in different formats. So in this case, we have a video. And for a thesis, the supplemental materials we use are probably to support our arguments or to test what we are developing as part of our study. So in this case, it's a video that demonstrates how this navigation works, and it's even available to download. Now, this is just briefly an overview of this ProQuest platform, and in this case, a ProQuest Central collection. Remember that we have for ProQuest dissertation and thesis over 2.7 full text dissertations available. Now, what if I need more information, or what Millie shared today with me was not enough in order to complete my knowledge process of these resources? Well, we have our LibGuides. In this case, this is the ProQuest Platform LibGuide, and here you'll find instructional materials like online modules, PowerPoint presentations, PDFs, recording webinars. What else do we have? Also, access to support articles. This is of special interest for librarians and administrators of their resources. So you have easy access to this information firsthand. Of course, we're always here to support your training needs. You can always ask for a training session, and we'll be happy to deliver a little bit more complete presentation for such purposes. Now, in case you have questions or you have doubts on how any of the resources of the library work, please keep calm and contact your librarians. They will be pleased to collaborate with you. They are also your allies, and I love that term that was used before, necessary allies along the way of your academic life. So please contact them. Make sure to contact them. Now, we have goodies. We have 3 questions, and the first people to answer each of these questions is going to win a prize. I don't know, Miss Sanchez, if we are allowed to say what the prize is, or not?
You could go ahead.
Okay, so we have 3 Amazon gift cards for those people answering correctly to these questions. So before doing so, or while we prepare the questions, please take just a minute. You can do it now or you can do it later. But it's quite important for us that you take a minute to share your insights on what this experience and this presentation was today, if it was of value for you. So just click on the link. This is our service survey. It would only take a minute for you to answer one question, and we have also a box for your comments. Now, are we ready for the questions? So, Ms. Sanchez, could you please keep record of the people answering first to the questions?
Yes, Millie, we have somebody with monitoring the chat,
Okay,
so we will.
thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And the first question. How many databases are included in ProQuest Central? How many databases are included in ProQuest Central? I made sure to mention it a few times. Okay, so let's give you a couple of not minutes, just a couple of seconds. Okay, ready for the second question? Now, second question, what type of content is available in ProQuest Central? We mean types of sources. Can you give us some examples of the type of sources or formats that are included in ProQuest Central? And third question, how many full text PDF dissertations and theses are available in the ProQuest dissertation and thesis collection? A lot. Someone's answering a lot. That's correct. That's pretty much correct. Okay. So I don't know if we have time for questions. Otherwise, that would be like an introduction to our resources. I'm really pleased to be here today with you. And the winners will receive your prizes through the library authorities. They will take care of making sure you receive this information.
Sorry. Hello.
Yes.
Before you go on, I'm asking your indulgence in terms of a question. My concern is that when you're off campus, because I'm actually on the library's website now, library's website now, and unfortunately, it says I cannot use the ProQuest web database. So what I did, I went into your database, but I was trying to listen and go online and go through the database. So I wasn't too sure what access I have. I mean, I double clicked on dissertations, so I know that I have access to dissertations, but sometimes when I'm trying to find information, I tend to go through Google Scholar. And sometimes when you click on Google Scholar for the article, it gives you just the abstract. So if I'm off campus and I go to ProQuest, will I have access to all the documents or just some? Because, thank you.
No, you're very welcome. You would have access to all of the documents. I'm going to share my screen again. And this has to do with making sure that you have authenticated as part of the academic community and they have proof that you have access to this content. Now, if you have questions regarding the credentials, please contact the library representatives. But the way you can have access or remotely to these resources is through the library website. And then you have the electronic databases at the resource tab, electronic databases, and then you'll have the list, the A to Z list of all the resources, not only ProQuest resources. Now, in case you want to look only at the ProQuest resources, then on the search box, please type ProQuest, and here you see all of our collections. ProQuest Central, ABI Inform. Actually, this is part of a ProQuest Central collection as well, but you have individual access to it, a ProQuest Dissertation and Thesis, and ProQuest Research Library. Now, if this persists, please contact the library. They will reach us out to do a more detailed revision to see if this is something, a technical issue that might be happening with your account. Hope this
Okay,
answers
thank
the
you.
question. You're welcome.
Yes, it does.
If there are any more questions, you can also place your questions in the chat with Ms. Gillens, and someone will respond to you as soon as possible. Also, at the end, we will have a question and answer session.
Okay, so I wouldn't like to take more time for the next presenters. So any other questions, remember, I'll type my email address in the chat.
So that was Millie Bagarin from ProQuest. Mrs. Eccleston-Burt, you can introduce our next presenter.
Sure, Ms. Sanchez. Good afternoon again, everyone. Our next presenter is Damien Satterthwaite. He's the Regional Manager for EBSCO Information Services. Mr. Satterthwaite has been a member of the EBSCO team for approximately 10 years, supporting various academic, corporate, and government libraries, information units, and research professionals gain access to relevant and appropriate scholarly content. Damien's extensive experience includes leadership roles at global technology and manufacturing organizations with operations in the Caribbean. He is happily married with 3 children. He is a graduate of Nova Southern University, where he has obtained both his MBA and BS in management. He's an active advocate for libraries in developing markets and has served on projects at various organizations such as Jamaica Computer Society, the Jamaica Library Service, and the Bureau of Standards. Damien's support for library initiatives extends to sustainability projects that has culminated in solar grants to institutions in Belize, the British Virgin Islands, and Jamaica. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mr. Satterthwaite. Take it over, Mr. Satterthwaite.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. I appreciate that very warm introduction. I was wondering if that was me you were talking about. But nonetheless, let me start by sharing my screen and asking if you can see my screen.
We are.
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. So I'm not going to do too much of a review of all of the things that EBSCO provides. I really want to focus on how you access the resources, knowing that you continuously get instruction and feedback from the wonderful team at the UWI. And let me say thank you to that team for inviting me to participate in today's session to share information on the many resources that you have available at the library. As was indicated at the start of the session, my name is Damien Satterthwaite. Please call me Damien. I'm a member of EBSCO's Caribbean team, and I'm very happy to support the Mona campus and the library specifically as we talk about the resources that you have available. As was demonstrated earlier by Ms. Togwell, you have access to those resources through your webpage. So the library's webpage, and I'm going to use a PowerPoint in the interest of time, and maybe at the end, knowing that I only have about 15 minutes or less, maybe we can go on live as well. So once you get to that webpage, you typically can search directly from the UE link search box, or you can go to resources as was demonstrated by Ms. Togwell earlier at the beginning of today's session. If you enter the resource page or the link, you can always type in the name of the resources that you're looking for. And at that point, you'll see the various databases that the university subscribes to. as was indicated, it's quite a significant number of resources. And my session will focus on those that are from EBSCO. From EBSCO, you have quite a number of full-text academic resources. So various databases like Academic Search Ultimate that was mentioned before, Medline Complete that was also mentioned before, and several others. Accessing those resources, as was indicated, requires that you have authentication credentials from the library. So once you're authenticated from the library, you will then be able to get into those platforms that are available. So beginning with EBSCO or staying with EBSCO, this is sort of a pictorial of what that EBSCO platform looks like. And in doing a search, I wanted to do a couple of different searches to share with you what the results would look like. And more importantly, talk about how you can access those resources. So again, I think this is static, so I'll try to make this as informative as possible, knowing that you may not be able to follow along with a mouse or so on. So in doing this particular search, you'll see the number of results that are coming up. You'll see the ways in which you can limit or filter those results on the left-hand side of the page, including accessing or reviewing only peer-reviewed content from that particular search. In this particular search, I wanted to keep this actually consistent. I'll do a couple of them, but this one is a search that I actually did last year. And the reason why I wanted to show this was to highlight two things. One, as was indicated by the library, you have quite a number of resources, and those resources continue to expand. What that essentially means is that more content is being added to those databases, not just publications and published results, but they grow significantly. So as an example, in doing this search last year, we got in the same search on the same list of databases, approximately 75,000 results. And you can see doing the same search today, the number of results almost double. So you can see over 158,000 titles doing the same search. So this is talking about or showing the actual growth and expansion of the scholarly content that you have access to as part of your utilization of resources. You can do that search obviously directly from your library's webpage. So using the UE link search box on the page, you're able to gain results. But the reason why we always try to direct you to also look within the databases is that sometimes that result that you may be searching for, searching directly through a database may provide more relevant or more current results as part of the search. So again, sticking with the same search that we did on atrial fibrillation, you'll notice that on the UE link page, I did the search, I had a result that is different from that result that is available in my most current search, which was the one done earlier this afternoon. So you'll notice that the currency of the result is different. The listing of the results are different. And in fact, the recency of the articles are also different. And that's where the arrows are highlighting that difference for you. You'll also notice that when you do results on the EBSCO platform, you're going to gain access to a number of resources as you would expect. So from scholarly articles, publications in academic journals, from magazines, from other scholarly sources, as well as ebooks that are available on the library's platform, which is part of what I wanted to focus for you today. So in this example, I'm doing a search on cryptocurrency. I'm seeing the results from the library's content through EBSCO. And one of the ways that I can access those results, as someone mentioned, remote access, is doing this online. I'm sorry, doing this through mobile devices. So In the previous review, I think last year, we talked about the fact that you always had access to a mobile app. One of the things that has changed, however, during the course of 2020 is that that mobile app was refreshed and you no longer need an Adobe ID to gain access to ebooks. So as a demonstration, when you go online for EBSCO's content, obviously you can search on your computers, you can search on your tablets, you can search on your smartphones, but you can also use an app that's freely available. And that app is available whether it's Android or Apple. Once you go into the appropriate app store, you're going to look for EBSCO EBSCO. You're able to get started as the first time using the app, where you're going to essentially be able to identify your institution. So you can simply type in Mona and you'll find the Mona Campus Library as one of those institutions that, that accesses EBSCO resources. Once you authenticate into the app, and you only have to authenticate once. So once you authenticate, it will remember that authentication. And the authentication that you'd use in this case is your credentials provided by the library. Once you're on the app, this is screenshots of what you'd essentially be able to see. So in this particular case, doing a search, I'm going to see all of the content that's available to me through the Mona library. That would include ebooks, journals, and others. But in the focus on ebooks, similar to what I just showed in the screenshot on cryptocurrencies, you're going to be able to see if that book has unlimited number of copies or there's a limitation. You're able to read the book online, but also download that book offline as needed. In the setup of that book, or I should say in the accessing of that book, if you did not already create an account on the EBSCO platform, meaning creating your own personalized folder or access to the folder, you're going to be asked to do so at this point. But again, once you do that once, the app will remember those credentials. At that point, you're going to be able to select the period of time that you can borrow that book or check out the book from the library, essentially. Once that checkout is done, the book then becomes available to you on that app. So essentially, you can read the entire title, you can skip to relevant pages, you can do all of the manipulations that you'd expect to when utilizing that EBSCO platform. And these are, again, just screenshots of that utilization. With EBSCO and with the redesign of not just the app, but our platforms, you're also going to be able to like content and save content to your own project folders and accounts, where you can sort of personalize your access in many ways. So this is an example of me doing this live. Again, I did this earlier, just a few moments ago. In this case, I'm using my smartphone here. You can see a picture of what the app looks like at the bottom of the screen, right next to my Hulu app, which I don't watch anymore. I'm going into access content. I'm looking for cryptocurrency. I'm finding the content that's available. And then I'm able to download or borrow that book and read that app, or I should say, read that title on my app. Now, if I were to do that on, let me see if I can quickly jump over to, please let me know if I'm still sharing. No, I've stopped sharing my PowerPoint, and I'm going to do this on live on the web page. So here I'm doing a search online. I'm using the library subscription. This is the UE Mona Libraries Essential subscription to EBSCO. Again, on the left of the screen, you're able to do all of the facets to limit your searches to find the most appropriate content. You're able to also go in and select individual databases, and all of this can be done from that app as well. So remote access to your content is available, obviously, on a computer or a tablet, but you can also do this from an app with the same experience. I can download this book if I want to, and you'll notice that you have multiple formats for ebooks. So you have a format that is either in PDF or in EPUB, and usually EPUB gives you the best options for mobile access. Once you download, and in this case, this download is referring to a checkout, it simply means that you would have offline access to the title. And here I have offline access in my Adobe Digital Editions account, where I can read this book without having access to the internet. So once it's downloaded or borrowed or checked out, whether you're doing that on your mobile app or on your computer, you're essentially borrowing and keeping access for the period of time that the library permits. So in a nutshell, what I essentially wanted to quickly present in the short time that I had are all of the ways that you can access EBSCO's content. You are already familiar, very familiar through the great work of the librarians, that you can do that access, or you have access via the library's webpage. You have, and I should do that live, I think. You have access via the library's webpage. You have access by clicking on the link that says resources. You can type in EBSCO to see all of the databases that you have access to. And the reason why you're going to usually do that for EBSCO is simply because in many instances, doing searches on the individual database platforms sometimes will provide more current or more recent articles that may appear directly from the UE link search result page. You can access all of those resources using mobile devices. And in this case, in a refreshed app that you no longer need to create an Adobe ID. And many of you may already be familiar with Adobe IDs for ebooks, but in this case, that is a step that has been eliminated by using the EBSCO app. I think I'm going a little bit fast, but I know that we have a limited time and I don't want to go beyond the time allotted to me. Let me pause here to find out if you have any questions. Please feel free to drop them in the chat. And I'm also, like the previous presenter, would like to give you an opportunity to also win a prize as well. And in the same way that the prize was done before, I'm going to ask 2 quick questions. And from those questions, the first responders will then award a prize at a later stage. And that prize will continue in the same vein with gift cards from Amazon that was previously shown. So the first question relates to ebooks. I mentioned in the presentation that you have 2 formats of ebooks typically available on EBSCO's platform. Can you say what those 2 formats are? Okay, so that's the first question. And I see a couple of answers coming in, and let me just quickly identify that. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Ms. Shorter, Nadina Shorter, that is correct. Those 2 formats are PDF and EPUB. So you have quite a number of different formats available. During Ms. Tugwell's presentation, and as with mine, I mentioned that EBSCO has quite a number of databases available on our platform. Can you name any one of those databases? And for a bonus question, quite a number of great answers, many of them, all of them correct. And for the last question, for a bonus question, Ms. Tugwell mentioned one of those databases specifically, where she said that it's one that the library uses quite often for searches for academic content. That database started with the words academic, but I see right away that we have, can you tell me the name? It starts with the word academic as a hint. Can you say what is the name of that database? Okay, so I hope that the persons who are answering are not librarians. We should really give this prize to students, but nonetheless, we have some great answers which are all correct. Thank you so much for my very brief presentation. We can answer additional questions for you as you put them into the chat, or later on, we'll be able to address those answers for you. So thank you all. Let me stop sharing. So I'm going to follow up with you, Elaine, to help me to ensure that we identify the persons who answered those questions correctly. I think I identified at least Mrs. Shorter.
Right.
I think the second question, or one of the questions, was also answered by Mrs. Spears. I'm not seeing her name, Dion.
Dion Spears, yes, correct.
Yes, thank you. I'm sorry, I may have missed the full name. I'm not able to see the chat clearly. And then we'll follow up with the others.
Right, Mrs. Reed Lawson is monitoring the chat, so she will tell us the winners and we'll contact them.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So we have heard from two of our database vendors, Millie Bagarin from ProQuest and Damian Sapatway from EBSCO. We are thankful that once again you could assist us to bring an awareness of two of our databases and give us some insight on how we can navigate towards getting the right resources for our research. Again, thank you. And again, if there are any questions, please put your questions or your comments. For the presenters, you can place them in the chat. We will now have a presentation on a very useful reference management tool, EndNote, and this will be done by Mrs. Carly Nelson, a librarian from the Mona Library.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'll be doing a demonstration of EndNote in UWLink. Before I go to the demonstration, I just want to provide a brief overview of EndNote. EndNote is a leading bibliographic software product on the market. It is a program that will put your references and citations into any format for your CV, paper, manuscript, or grant application. EndNote will automatically create your reference list for you. Each time you cite a new reference, the new reference will be added to your reference list in the right place. You can use EndNote to save references to any item you have used for research or teaching. You can save these items in a single storage area for easy access. EndNote also assists with quality control so that all instances of the same author, journal title, or keyword are saved in a consistent format. It allows you to import references quickly from UWLink and databases. While working with Word, it allows you to achieve consistency with automatic formatting, create automatic bibliographies, change your formatting style instantly, and allows you to cite your work correctly, thereby helping you to avoid plagiarism. Let's go now to the demonstration. So we go over to UWLink. So we go to libraries. We are on the university's webpage. We go to libraries. And we click here to go to the UWLink page. UWLink now has a new interface with some new features. So before we get into the demonstration, I just want to point out some of these new features. Of course, you will need to sign in with your UWID number and password to be able to access full text content. So let's sign in. UWLink now allows you to do a voice search. To do this voice search, you click on the icon looking like a microphone and repeat your search term. Global warming. Let's do that again. Global warming. So here I have my search results based on my voice search. With this search, I'm able to save items to my favorite, which is up here. So I can add items to my favorite by clicking on the pin next to the item. And it's added to my favorite. And I can save an entire query to my favorites by clicking on Save Query. So the next time I sign in, I will see the items that I've saved. I can also email a single record to myself or to someone else by clicking on this icon. Or I can email multiple items to myself by selecting the ones that I want to email, then go to these three dots, click on email, and these items will be emailed to me. If I want the citation if I want a quick citation for a single item, I can click on the quotation marks, scroll down to the bottom of my screen, and here's my citation style based on APA 7th edition, and I could choose any style from the listing here. And in this listing, we have the most recent styles. Another new feature of UWLink is the citation trail. Some items have a citation trail. The downward arrow indicates the sources that are cited in this item. Sometimes you will find an arrow extending upwards, and this arrow will indicate the sources which have cited the article. So those are some of the new features of UWLink. We now want to look at EndNote. We can add single items to an EndNote library, or we can add multiple items to our EndNote library. To add a single item to our EndNote library, we click on the quotation marks, then EndNote, and it will be added to our EndNote library. If we want to add multiple items, to our library. We check the items that we want to add. Go to the three dots at the top of our screen. Click on EndNote. And we are directed to the EndNote screen. EndNote is a part of the Web of Science platform, which is a subscription database, so we will need to register to use this resource. And to register, we must register with our UE email address and a password of our choice. If we already have a Web of Science password, we can go ahead and sign in. I already have a Web of Science password, so I'll just sign in. Are you seeing the screen?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
So I'll sign in. And here it tells me that I've imported 5 items from UWLink. So if I want to see the items that I've imported, I go to my references. And there I have all my references. If we have a number of references in our library for different courses, we can group our references by checking the ones that we want to be placed in a group. Click here to create a new group. We're asked to name our group. I'll just call this one Climate Change. And all these items are added to this new group. Now, we can create a quick reference list from our library by going to Format, Bibliography. Select the references that we want to be in this reference list. I want all the references in my library. I could choose the group that I've created, but I want all the references in my library. I then select a bibliographic style. So I scroll down this list to find my style. I want APA 7th. APA 7th. Is APA 7th. APA 7th. Select a file format, plain text. Then I decide the method of output. I can save it, I can email it to myself or to others, or I can print and preview. I want to print and preview, so I click on this option. And there are my references. EndNote also provides assistance with citing in-text. To do so, you will have to have the EndNote plugin. If you don't have the EndNote plugin, you can download it from here. I already have this plugin, so I'm going to go over to my Word document and add some references from my library. So here's my Word document. Are you now seeing my Word document?
Yes, we are seeing it.
So if you want to add a reference here, please your cursor right there. And I've downloaded the EndNote plugin. So I click on EndNote in Word. I'm just waiting for it to load. Yes, so I place my cursor where I want the reference to be added. And I click on insert. Sorry, first I choose my style. I want APA 7. I click on insert. Indicate the reference that I wanted to be added there. I want the reference Houghton, Houghton. Click on find. And there is my reference. It has found it for me. I click on insert. And it's inserted in my document. Let me add another. I want to have another here. So I click on insert. M-H-A-N, find. Click on insert. And it has added my reference, in-text reference for me. And not only has it added my in-text reference, but if I scroll down to the bottom of my document, you will see that it has started to compile my reference list for me in alphabetical order. So there is no chance of you leaving out anything that you have cited in text when you use EndNote. And this was just a brief demonstration of EndNote. We will have a more detailed session in the near future, along with other sessions on different citation styles. So we invite you to watch out for these announcements on our website and other social media platforms. Over to you, Ms. Sanchez.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Nelson. That was a lot of information. Also, just to add, you can go on our portal on ORVLE and type in UIIML1, and we have a lot of information there, a host of information. We have things for graduates and things for undergraduates. You can just go and click things about UILink, PowerPoint presentations, and a lot of videos you can watch. We even have one on EndNote if you're still struggling, plus we're open, so you can come in and sit and chat with one of the librarians or any one of the staff, and they will assist you in whatever challenges you're having. So at this time, we will have a giveaway. So I hope you are listening. I would like for you to name 3 benefits of using EndNote. And the gift, well, it's a 2-part gift. One is a pair of earbuds. And the second is a $500 Flow phone card. So for the first person to type in the chat, the 3 benefits of using EndNote. And the second person that type will get a $500 Flow phone card.
It should be a student.
Yes, it has. I think I need, yes, a student to win this gift, definitely. Mrs. Nelson, you can stop sharing. Yes, I think I need a student for this. I'll definitely be asking for the ID. And as the person's putting all the questions in the chat while you're thinking about the benefits of the 3 benefits of using EndNote. Again, we are open. You can go also on our website and you will see different ways of contacting us. We also have a WhatsApp number. Ms. Togwell will put that in the chat for you shortly if she has not done so already. And Mrs. Reed-Lawson will continue to monitor the chat to tell me the winners. So far, we have for the first question, we have Gina Leigh Ennis, and she won for herself a $500 digital card. The question that was asked before was name 2 databases that was mentioned by Ms. Togwell, and she won for herself a $500 phone card, digital card. So we have a lot more surprises coming up, a lot more gifts. So I think we should stay tuned and continue to take note. But most of all, as was mentioned before by several of our presenters, we spend so much money on our databases and we need persons to utilize these databases. They have a host of information. For me, I usually say to students, it's the difference between an A and a B. It's the difference between a pass and a fail. Our databases are very important. So at this time, we will have Mrs. Eccleston Burt, a librarian for our Western Campus. At this time, she will be bringing us a game called Kahoot. I am so excited. And from this, we will have, well, let me not say, that's a surprise. Mrs. Burt?
Hello again, Ms. Sanchez. Hello, everyone. Now we will be playing a game at this time called Kahoot. Now, you might be wondering, what Kahoot is all about. It's an online game, and we're going to use this game to test your memory to see how well you were listening, and we're participating in the sessions and all the wonderful presentations that we shared with you a while ago. So Kahoot, I want you to join this game by going to www.kahoot.it. Or for some people, you may already have the app on your device, so you can also use the app. Now you can enter the game pin displayed, highlighted yellow there on screen on your device. In playing the game, please enter your full name. You need to use your full name to participate in the game. The game will test how fast you are at selecting the correct answer to the questions that will be presented. Now, the quick fingers, we will be seeing how fast you can utilize them, because even if all of you get the correct answer, it's going to be the one that places the answer first on the platform. So the question and answer choices will be displayed. You are to select the answer choice corresponding to the button with the same color and shape as the answer choice, that you'll see on your device. Once the game is over, the winners, first, second, and third place winners, their information will be displayed on their podium position. So at this time, good luck with the game. So, ready for Kahoot? You have the pin? Uh-oh, I should have waited for more persons. All right. Ready, set, go. Okay. Delia, you're going on fine. Delia still out there winning on top of the podium already. Let's see who else will take that top spot from Delia. Chantal has overtaken Delia. Wow, the competition is on. Let's see who will do better than Delia now with this next question. Chantal, out in front again. All right, let's see who is going for Chantal with your quick fingers with this question. Chantal still out front. Chantal, you're going on fine. Let's see who will overtake Chantal now. Where are all the quick fingers? Okay. Chantal, you're still out there, but guess what? Sharp is really, really coming after you. Chantal, you're going on fine. Let's see. Chantal still at the top. Come on, guys. Take the game to Chantal. Gina Lee's coming at you, Chantal. And Fiona is coming up. last chance for you to overtake Chantal.
Sorry, hello?
And as you can see who the winner is, the winners are first place, Chantal, second place, Sharp, and Fiona third. I was getting a question.
Yes, for the record, I wasn't seeing I wasn't seeing the question and answers, but I guess I never launched the Kahoot properly on my phone, but I enjoyed it.
I
Thank you.
wasn't seeing it either, miss.
Uh-oh, I'm so sorry. I'm not sure what would have caused that.
I was just tapping. All I saw was the squares and the colors. I never saw the questions. And then eventually I saw
Same
the
here.
questions and couldn't answer. So anyway, but congrats to
Oh,
the
you
winner.
eventually saw the questions.
Yes, but couldn't answer after that.
Okay, I'm not sure if it has something to do with your internet connection and the speed at
I
which
think
the
it's
information is displayed on your device.
I think I never, because I haven't launched I think it's because I haven't launched the app on my phone. So it wasn't properly launched. I just went through it. But anyway, I enjoyed it.
Nice, thanks. And thank you all for participating. And Chantal and Sharp and Fiona, you guys did well. It shows that you have the quick fingers and are able to move those fingers quickly to answer the questions. And I'm happy that you all enjoy the game. So congratulations again. And over to you, Ms. Sanchez.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Burt. Chantal, Sharp, and Fiona, job well done. So for Chantal, your prize will be a Samsung Tab 7. That's a tablet.
Wow.
Yeah, good job.
Congratulations, Chantal.
Yes, I see you were listening and it paid off in the end.
That's awesome.
That was great, yes. For Miss Sharp and Fiona, there'll be a phone card for Fiona, our third prize winner, and I think it's a earphone for Miss Sharp. So guys, thank you very much for participating. Job well done. It shows that you were paying attention, but I not only want you to pay attention for just this session, I need you to go and utilize our databases, tell your friends. And if you're still having challenges, you can go on our website, you can contact us, you can walk in, we're open, and we are ready to help. That is why we're here. At this time, we'll have our campus librarian, Dr. Paulette Carr, who will give us our closing remarks.
Sorry, may I just interject?
Yes, Ms. Gillen?
Yes, I had a few questions because I wasn't following the chat. I just wanted, I know it's COVID, whether or not we can come in to ask for assistance, if we can use the library and stay in the library. The other one, I'm still having difficulty with being off campus and having access to all the database. It doesn't give me access. And yeah, that's basically what I want to find out, whether or not we can come in and stay in the library. What is it for us if we're not in the library for us to ask for assistance in terms of the research? Just to state that I don't for other things, I'm having difficulty in getting access to the database. Sometimes you go and all you get is the actual, you can't actually download the document, and the other ones, it doesn't allow you to open up. Thank you.
Okay, not a problem, Mrs. Gillens. If you look in the chat, you will see the different ways you can contact us. You can send us an email or you can send us a WhatsApp message. Someone will put in the chat how you can contact us, and you can easily send us an email and we'll get back to you. So for both questions that you have, you can seek the answer in the chat. I'm going to ask Ms. Tugwell just to answer both questions for Mrs. Gillens. Dr. Carr?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Ms. Sanchez. I see that Chevanese Johnson Dixon has her hand up, and maybe we should try to respond to that question. If there's a question, her hand has been up for a long while. Chevanese Johnson Dixon, do you have a question? Or maybe the person no longer needs a response, but there's a hand up from a Chevanese Johnson Dixon. All right, I was watching the chat. Yes, go ahead.
My question was answered. Thanks.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, take your hand down then, Chevanese.
Okay, miss.
All right. Okay. Thanks so much. What an engaging session. I am so glad that I participated from the beginning to the end because I learned so much about the databases. So I really want to thank everybody for joining us for this very, very informative session during our open week here at the Mona Library, where we really aimed at showcasing just a few of the extensive portfolio of our eResources. It was very stimulating. Our presenters took us to another level. I didn't even know about the EBSCO app. So, you know, students are going to want to use that. I'm sure many students were not aware, and even faculty, of the ProQuest database that includes just dissertations. Wow, you can begin your research, you know, so I found it very, very stimulating. And I'm sure you heard about a number of resources that you didn't know about, because I certainly did. eResources and including texts and databases and serials are core to the library's support of teaching, learning, and research. And as it has been said many times in this presentation, these account for more than 70% of the library's budget, annual budget. But I think more importantly for us as a library, and I want to say that so that our ProQuest and our EBSCO reps are hearing, that it's the breadth of the eResources that we have in the library. We know without a shadow of a doubt that these play a role in placing the UWI as #1 in the region. Because without those resources, there is no way we would have been placed there. So we really are grateful for the resources that we have, and that the university continues to support us with these resources. So I am happy and very grateful to the library team that forged ahead in planning and executing this excellent event. I am so grateful too for all the students who participated. We were a little worried during that town hall when one of our students actually asked a question, what is a database? And we decided we had to find ways of getting this out. I saw that there was a student in the chat who said, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm just, when Damien was presenting, I'm so sorry, we're just learning about these things now. But it's never too late. It's never too late. At least you can fix your papers at this stage with all the information that you've heard. So thanks so much. Thanks to our presenters, Miss Millie Bugarin from ProQuest, and of course, Mr. Satterthwaite from EBSCO. two of the leading database and ebook providers for taking time to share with us. Ms. Stugwell, thank you so much for giving us that overview of the databases and the subject areas. And for those persons who were asking, that video is actually on the ORVLE platform. You will find that it is in the library's container, that video that she did. It's a very, very useful overview that she did. What we're worried about, and I think Ms. Sanchez said it, is that so many of our students and even our faculty may not be aware of the breadth of what we have. So I'm going to encourage us to just explore, just go on to the library site and just explore. And if you're not finding your way, we have many ways of you getting to us. We have librarians who are actually on virtual reference. They're sitting there waiting for you to contact them. Just go to the library site and you'll see, ask. We have the WhatsApp, and I think the number was shared, and the library is open. Mrs. Gillings asked us about that. The library is wide open, so you can actually come in. I don't think you can hang out as we used to do last year or in 2019, but certainly we are open and we are available online as well. I want to thank Mrs. Nelson as well for that very, very informative presentation that she gave. Mrs. Nelson is a true teacher. You notice how she was just very deliberate so that you were learning as you go along. So thank you all. Thanks so much. And I'm sure that EndNote presentation is going to be developing skills in some of our graduate students and maybe even our faculty. I want to thank all the team members for this this presentation, this session in Open Week. All of you, Ms. Sanchez, Mrs. Burt, I don't want to leave out any names, Ms. Tugwell, you know, everybody who was involved, Mrs. Nelson, who from the very outset agreed and pushed. I want to thank you for the excellent work that you did in pulling together this session, and for all the librarians and all the library staff who helped to make it successful. I really want to say thanks. Have a great rest of the afternoon. Remember, Open Week continues tomorrow with our session, Research to Innovation, Strengthening Access, where we are going to be, the library will be collaborating with JIPO in talking about innovation, talking about research, and talking about intellectual property matters. So join us tomorrow as we continue, and thanks again for joining us today. Thanks to all our presenters and thanks to all our participants. And thanks for those who gave prizes as well. Thank you all. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you so much, Dr. Carr. This was a great evening. I learned a lot also, and I am looking forward to sharing with other students. And again, our doors are open. There are different ways to contact us. There is the webinar evaluation form. It's in the chat. Can you just fill it out before you leave while I just tell you of our winners? So Gina Lee Ennis, I'll give you my email address at the end and you can contact me for your prizes. Shanae Campbell, Tamika Henry, Janice Simpson Hales, Nadina Shorter, Shauna Gay Anderson, Chantel, Fiona, and Sharp. Chantel Sharp is the same person. So my email address is, and Mrs. Burgley Reed Lawson, can you just type it in the chat? It's Elaine.Sanchez, and the Sanchez is SAUNCHES 02 @uwimona.edu. So it will be placed in the chat. So for our winners, you can send me an email and we make arrangement for you to receive your gift. So it was a wonderful evening, very insightful. I'm sure we all learned a lot. And thank you all for taking the time out to come and share in this our eResource webinar. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.